Peace, family. Welcome to the Aetherium, the spiritual sanctuary where I am pioneering the practice of cosmic wellness, which is a spiritual practice that is based upon a foundation of spiritual abolition, which is a shadow work framework that is grounded in decolonization of the self. And that brings liberation and sovereignty and allows us to be fully in our power and intentional about our choices. And that is foundational to any manifestation practice. If you don't know yourself, you don't know what you're manifesting, period. So that's what we're doing here. And I'm just gonna riff because there are a lot of messages that need to come out. I feel them all in my body. And I've been struggling to meditate lately because I have too much that I need to communicate. So we're gonna jump into it. First things first, I'd love to invite folks to just put in the comment section, like, what's up with you? You know, what's up with you? Also, on my screen, I see 1111, so I definitely feel like we are going through cosmic upgrades, spiritual upgrades, that feel very exciting, but excitement is also exhausting, and I want to honor that these changes that we're going through may feel unmooring. It may feel unmooring, and that's because we are being taken out of the old and brought in to the new, and the old was comfortable to us. We knew how to handle that, but it's hard to know how to handle the new. And I'm just shuffling my cards. I'm using the 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 because I need a little bit of guidance and structure to be able to just really lock in. That's what this divination practice of tarot and astrology helps with. It just makes it much easier to lock in and not spend so much time trying to figure out what, who, what, where, when, why, through the feelings. That's reading energy, sensing energy, clarifying the messages that are carried in the energy, the feelings there present. So we get the 7 of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck, I have the 4 of Wands in reverse. I feel like there's been a lot of witchcraft that has been done to the collective, and witchcraft, it's just like the term occult. It's been, and witch in general has been co-opted for negative connotations, but they're not actually necessarily bad. It's just the way that language has been used to turn certain people, and I definitely feel like it's a good number of you in the collective, against ourselves and against our own power, to make us fear ourselves is the adversary's goal. And as you know, if you are subscribed to the mysteries, if you are a long time listener, first time caller, you will know that shaitan is the word, a Semitic word for adversary. And that's where the term Satan comes from. It is the adversary. And they are adversarial to life. That's what we're talking about, because we are an embodiment of life, obviously. And that's what they're trying to destroy. It's not about death, because death and life come together, okay? It's about like just like, and death is rebirth. It's about stopping the cycle completely is what they're about. And they want to also get people trapped so that they can harvest their energy, because they are not living. They have no light left in them. They're too far, or anyways, they're too far away from source. They've fallen so far. I've fallen and I can't get up. They're done. And when by the end of Saturn in Aquarius, they're gonna be gone. Like, they're done. They're not getting any more chances because they've been given enough chances. And, you know, evolution, it's not like, oh, God says that they're bad. No, evolutionarily, this is actually like, it goes against reason to keep them. So, you know, like DNA that is not helpful, recessive genes, that's kind of like what we're talking about here. These adversarial entities and energies, because they're so destructive and counterproductive and antithetical to what we're doing here. Okay, so that's that. And a lot of these folks who embody this energy have been desecrating, you know, magic and occult practices and inverting it in order to cause harm. And they've been, you know, successfully causing harm. And that's the witchcraft that I'm talking about. And it's not just like, oh, specifically against any individual person. That's not the case. It's against the collective at large. This is a part of media. This kind of baneful magic is part and parcel with what goes on in the media as a tool of controlling the masses, and using the masses to create the reality that they're seeking, because you have to remember that they're not capable of doing that themselves. They have to have us do it. And not only do they have to have us do it, they have to use these beings are actual vampires. Yes, energy vampires, but they also, they literally have to drink blood and eat flesh because of the magics that they've done. And it's honestly what I downloaded today is that it is witchcraft that they put on people and psyops also, like part of the revelation that's been going on about them. That's a natural revelation that's been going on because of the planet's ascending consciousness. Part of that is, you know, they're being like, oh, it's just energy vampirism. No, it's actually like, and they've done magic, they've done witchcraft and spell work to make people believe that actual vampirism, as in drinking blood and eating flesh, is not something that is real, but it is. It is. They do it, and they have to keep doing it. Once you start, you can't stop. It's a byproduct of the unsacred magics that they do. Okay? So that's just really important to understand and understand and overstand. And I'm going to tell you something. Give me just a second. I want to say this I don't think that anyone that I am in a interpersonal relationship with, this is a problem. But I don't, know everybody who's going to hear this personally. So it needs to be said because it's something I'm noticing a lot. If you are leaving your biological material around, that is to say your hair, your sanitary products if you menstruate, your nail clippings, all this type of stuff, you are putting yourself in serious danger. Seriously. And you don't know who is a witch. You don't know who is going to do baneful magic with that material. Okay? Like, y'all got to be more careful. I have already made a TikTok about this, and I guess I'll have to post it again onto YouTube. But it's incredible to me. Not only because it's absolutely disgusting, but also because you're leaving your hair in your shower. Even if you live alone, you cannot do that. Because if you really are a chosen one and you think that you are experiencing gang stalking and whatnot, and you are leaving your hair in the shower, you need to flush that shit. And better yet, burn it. Burn it immediately. Not only is it absolutely disgusting, so fucking gross, but it is also incredibly dangerous. Vacuum it up, pick it up, burn it, or flush it. Don't put it in the trash can either. You get rid of it all the way. Destroy it. Do not allow anyone to have access to it. And be very careful who you're letting put their hands on your head. Because that is a quick way to pick up some fucked up energies. All right? It's seriously. Okay? I had this roommate. These two roommates, actually. But specifically, I'm going to talk about one. Because one of them, she wasn't really an issue to me. Like, I didn't like living with her. But she wasn't, like, a bad person who was, like, intentionally causing harm. The other one, though, she was. And she is. And they know that I'm a witch. That I practice magic. And I'm more than a witch, actually. So take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it. But they know that I'm a practitioner, and they left their hair out all the time. And I told them, get rid of it, mainly because it grosses me out. It really disgusts me. It's part of my sensitivity. I am hypersensitive to biological material because guess what? My power includes being able to read that shit. Like, reading your DNA in it. And I could feel it. Like, I can feel it. And it's just really not, it's not the wave. It's not a vibe. It's not an experience that I enjoy at all. It grosses me out. It makes me gag, and I don't even like dealing with my own hair. It overwhelms me. That's the nature of my gifts. And, I warned them because of that. I warned them as an accessibility thing to please not leave their hair around because it's extremely triggering for my sensory processing, divergences. And they still would leave shit around, okay? Because that's the kind of people that they are. Both of them are on drugs, so neither of them is particularly careful or caring. And let alone the fact that it's just like, I specifically asked you because of an accessibility thing, knowing that I'm diagnosed with neurodivergence. But also, you know, think about the fact that like the one of them who was antagonistic, a liar, a thief, I could have taken her hair and fucked her up in the spirit. I could have. But I chose not to. However, there are plenty of people, more people than not, who practice, who would, given the opportunity. And we wouldn't be able to say she didn't deserve it. She did everything to deserve to have somebody do baneful magics to her, to curse her, to hex her, to jinx her. She did everything to deserve that. You know, especially against someone who you know is a practitioner. And she was a fool because, you know, I don't actually have to do anything in order for her to get her comeuppance. That's the thing about me, you know, and that's the thing about chosen ones. Not only, especially if you're coming from a bloodline, which, you know, a lot of us are, not all of us, but all of us. Well, yeah, and we come into certain bloodlines to rescue them from the pits and the jaws of life, the bowels of life, you know, because a lot of these sacred bloodlines, these chosen bloodlines, you know, the Lemurian bloodlines, the originals, a lot of our bloodlines are fallen due to all of the history that is hidden, the warfare, the colonization, the trials and tribulations, all that shit. You know, a lot of our bloodlines are fallen, and we have to rescue them. We have to raise them up. So we have a lot of powerful ancestors. We have a lot of powerful ancestors on our side. And they don't actually. They have a lot of depravity. It's not about, for these folks who are on the side of Shaitan, the adversary, it's not that they're powerful. Is that they're willing to do anything, which is not a good thing. That is desperate. That is disgusting. Like, you're willing to eat shit, literally. Stuff like that. That's, you know, humiliating. You're willing to sexually, to be a sex deviant and hurt children and stuff like that. You know, that's all that it is with them, is they're willing to do just about anything. And that's not good. But that doesn't mean that they're powerful. They have access to powerful beings, but at what cost? And it's not their power. It's not something that they earned. It's just something that they've gotten access to temporarily. And so also chosen ones, we have, you know, coming from spiritual lineages and our own power that we bring with us. So that's really just important to remember, because it's easy to get caught up in fear. But when you remember that they're fighting for their lives, and this is called the Red Queen syndrome. Okay, so I will continue just by saying, like, you know, that is some really important stuff that we gotta watch out for. And I'll actually fill y'all in on what Red Queen theory is in evolutionary biology. It is a hypothesis in evolutionary biology proposed in 1973 that species must constantly adapt, evolve, and proliferate in order to survive while pitted against ever-evolving opposing species. The hypothesis was intended to explain the constant age-independent extinction probability as observed in the paleontological record caused by coevolution between competing species. However, it has also been suggested that the Red Queen hypothesis explains the advantage of sexual reproduction as opposed to asexual reproduction at the level of individuals, and the positive correlation between speciation and extinction rates in the most higher taxa. Lee Van Valen proposed the hypothesis as an explanatory tangent to explain the law of extinction known as Van Valen's law, which states that the probability of extinction does not depend on the lifetime of the species or higher rank taxon, instead being constant over millions of years of any given taxon. However, the probability of extinction is strongly related to adaptive zones because different taxa have different probabilities of extinction. In other words, extinction of a species occurs randomly with respect to age, but not randomly with respect to ecology. Collectively, these two observations suggest that the effective environment of any homogeneous group of organisms deteriorates at a stochastically constant rate. Give me just a darn tootin' moment, because we're getting some interference from some entities that don't want me to talk about this and don't want me to share this with you all. Not that I give a shit. We're gonna keep it up. We're gonna keep it up. And be mindful of monitoring spirits, y'all. Be very mindful of monitoring spirits. If you get the sense that you are being monitored, you have to look out for yourself, you have to protect yourself, and you have to just act against those beings. Do what you can to mitigate their influence, especially by, being conscientious of what you share and don't share. And monitoring spirits may also be, not embodied. So if you feel like, the walls have ears, they might just have ears. I definitely get the sense that there's a spirit that is been attached to me to monitor me. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to burn a little bit of, I need to do a cord clearing anyway, but I also need, I'm going to use this lid. I also need to do some purifications to the space that I'm in. I need to purify myself, and so we need to really be on top of that right now, because there's a lot of purging going on that we need to constantly be cleansing from, and there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on. So because this has been in water, it might take a second to light. Oh, there it goes. Just gonna pause. All right. So basically now here you see it takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place. Under this hype, that is the quote from Through the Looking Glass. Remember, that's a very important part of what we do here in 11:11 on the screen. All right, I also saw 24:42. under this hypothesis, species have to run or evolve in order to stay in the same place. It's a zero-sum game. However, this is what I am trying to express. The idea that the weaker species works harder than the stronger species, because the weaker species is struggling to survive. So the way that it was described in Vampire Diaries, Caroline said that, you know, I guess she said, like, it was a rabbit and maybe a fox or a wolf or something, but we'll use that example. The rabbit runs faster than the fox because the fox is running for dinner, whereas the rabbit is running for its life. So remember that when you think about these beings that are coming up against you, you're working for your life. Work harder. They are stronger. I mean, they are weaker. We are stronger than them. Shaitan. We are stronger than Shaitan. They are fighting to survive. Okay? And they're willing to do anything. But a lot of us aren't willing to do the bare minimum. And I know that that's not true for everybody, you know. A lot of us are exhausted. We're worn out. But I think that it's important for us to be willing to sacrifice some of the stuff in the mundane material world in order to have more energy and space and time for the things that we need to do in the spirit. Okay? That's the message that's coming through. But just remember that these beings that are like trying to take you down, trying to attack you, they're weak. Anyone who tries to destiny swap is a weakling and a coward. Okay? They're not somebody that you need to be afraid of because they are not in their power. They're not a sovereign being. So they are basically being used as supply for a parasite in the unseen. And they're going to try and get supply from you, especially if you're higher vibrational. The higher you vibrate, the more that they're going to want that energy because it is of high value. You have to start seeing yourself as somebody who is of high value. And you have to start treating yourself as somebody who is of high value. And then others will accordingly. There are always going to be those people who are going to try it. I tell y'all that all the time. They're never going to stop trying it. It's just that you get better at saying no. You get better at having boundaries. And you start to give off an energy of like, oh, that person's not even worth trying to get near. The chances are you already give off that energy. But some people are crazy enough to try it anyway. And you know what? Little do they know. Or little do you know that when you are operating from desperation and a deficit, you're willing to go low. I want to tell you, though, a lot of the people who are coming up, who are crazy and insane for even trying it, but then they end up getting it, those ones are Shaitan sent to attack you. They're demon incarnate, some of these people. A lot of people need to realize if you're an earth angel, then there are earth demons. And I'm not getting into any kind of debates about demons and angels and that kind of thing. But just think of it this way. If there are angel incarnates and deity incarnates, which there are, then there are demon incarnates. And they look like regular people, but they're not. Usually, you can tell that somebody is affected by demons if they have face tattoos. Especially Shaitan. Because remember, not all demons are on the side, are currently working against us. Some of them are seeking redemption. Some of them are working for and towards us. They're on our side. It's important to be able to know and use discernment to know who is and who isn't. Okay? So that's some of what needs to come through, and just saying that, yeah, with that Four of Wands in reverse, the magics that they did were to keep you down, to keep you depressed, to keep you in a state of sickness, mental and emotional sickness, and to just have you completely distracted with all of those that crap, to lose hope, to lose sight of what matters, in hopes also that you would self-harm and destroy yourself. And a lot of us, fell for it. We fell into it because we didn't know any better. We didn't have the proper support, this, that, and the third. Perhaps some of us, it's karmic reasons, contractual reasons, things that had to happen. You know what I mean? Things that had to happen. But the old contracts have been over for a while. That time is done. We are free of that now. And it's time to, give ourselves the grace and the glory, give ourselves the space to have a good life, because it is accessible to us if we're willing to allow ourselves to have it. Okay, even if people try to dissuade you, the main tool of the adversary is distraction. They're going to try and distract you all kinds of ways. They're going to try to get you caught up. They're going to try and get you confused AF. So you don't know which way is up or down, so you think. But you do. You do know which way is up or down. Just because they're trying to throw stuff at you doesn't mean that you have to give in and abandon what you know to be true and right and good. You don't have to abandon who you are and what you are just because that's what they want you to do. You don't have to do it. Who cares what they want? You take pleasure in not giving them what they want. I know I do. Okay? But that stuff is over now. And you're going to see it more and more coming into your life in the 3D. But you already sense it. You know what I mean? Like 3311 on the timer. Who I'm talking to, you already get the sense because you know it's different in the spiritual realms and you've felt the change. And I'm here to confirm for you that that is exactly what is happening. The change is exactly what is happening. You felt it and it's going to continue manifesting. And the thing that you need to do to co-create with the universe, because remember, our practice, our manifestation practice here in the Aetherium as part of cosmic wellness is co-creation. We're not working against our destiny. We're not working against the stars, the universe, because that's working against ourselves. Therefore, it is self-sabotage. We're not doing that. Self-sovereign beings yield to the power greater than them. And that's the thing about Shaitan that's stupid. They don't yield to a power greater than them. Inevitably, they may win the battle, but they inevitably lose the war. It's just a fact of life. They constantly try to go against nature. So don't be like them. Don't be foolish like that. It's foolishness. They're wreaking a lot of havoc, but they're paying for it. You know what I mean? And I want to say that yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And so 7 of Pentacles I see here. So the thing about this is that there's a phoenix with the number 7 on it, and it is burning. That is transformation. And this person is walking into hell. Their wings get cut off because they are chasing the money that is coming from this phoenix. The sun is shining behind the clouds. So I do sense that, like, you've been through a tough period. Of course, we've been through a tough period where we had karmic timelines to play out, and we were chasing all the wrong things. But ultimately, you know, my God, the God that I believe in, that I work with, the Most High Divine Creator, uses anything of our free will to empower us by learning the lesson, embodying the wisdom, and that allows us to glow up, get lighter, and vibrate higher. Okay? That's what it allows us to do. And that's the period that we're coming out of. Okay, and if you're experiencing any blockages, if you're experiencing any conflicts or anything like that, that is just a manifestation of that energy clearing in your 3D. And just show up for it as the best version of yourself, as the sovereign version of yourself. If you don't know what that looks like, you know, ask your innermost self. Be intentional. Set those intentions. All right? This is a perfect time to remind people that we are doing a 2-day virtual retreat for setting our manifestations for the new year, vernal equinox. Setting our intentions and planning our manifestations, rather. This will be comprehensive, and it will be so helpful. You have no idea. I would really, really recommend signing up, because it's going to be so powerful, and it's going to be so life-changing, and it is very inexpensive. For how much you'd pay for 2 drinks on a night out, for how much you'd pay, well, you used to pay for an 1/8, I guess. I don't know how much people pay for weed anymore, but, you know, how much you used to pay for an 1/8 back in the 2010s, before lockdown, BC, before 𝗂𝗄𝗄𝗄𝗂. That's how much it is. Sliding scale. If you need me to, I can offer you a discount. Hit me up. I can also offer for queer BIPOC folks. I can offer a scholarship, so you can come. You don't gotta pay if that's what you need. We have 4 spots available at every event going on that I have planned. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up because I have to go, and so do you probably. I think that a lot of great information has already come through. Just stay in your power, stay in your sovereignty. 7 of Pentacles comes out again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read a textbook definition. Show up for the tests, because I do feel like, you know, we're still working, you know, but we're still working, we're still being challenged, we're still being met with, you know, warfare. So we're not completely in the clear, but we are enough to be able to know that just staying in your sovereignty, the blessings are coming. Don't self-abandon. Exactly. Key meanings: patience and hard work. You've planted the seeds. Now it's time to wait and see how they grow. This card encourages trusting the process. Justice in the reverse. And now it's in the direct. There's a fear that justice won't come through for you. 8 of Cups. What you need to focus on is processing what you've been through. Transmuting all of that. Assessment and reevaluation. Exactly. Are your current efforts aligned with your ultimate goals? It may be time to pause and reflect on whether you want to continue on the same path or make adjustments. Delayed gratification. Rewards are coming, but they require perseverance. It's a reminder that good things take time. Exactly what I said. Investment and growth, whether in career, relationships, or personal projects. The 7 of Pentacles suggests long-term success through sustained effort. So I would really suggest, folks, Queen of Cups, the Hermit in reverse, 6 of Wands. We're coming out of this hermit period, this period of isolation where we've been in the alchemical chamber, into our divine feminine power. The bride has risen. Knave of Cups in the reverse. No longer are we naive, and no longer should we pretend to be the fool. Live in your power. Live in your wisdom. Don't let anybody play you, but don't play yourself. That's how you get played, is you play yourself, because we know our intuition warns us. All right. I love you all truly and deeply. 3 of Swords in the reverse. If you want to unbreak your heart, start showing up for yourself. And that's one way that you can, is by signing up for the, what is it called? Dark to Dawn manifestation retreat. I will see you all there. I love you all truly and deeply. The link's going to be in the bio or in the description box. And 2 of Wands, we're coming into union with divine union, and we know that our divine counterpart is our entire existence, our entire experience. So you got to show up in every realm of your life how you're meant to. All right. Trust your intuition. Stop trying to be super logical. Stop trying to know everything with your mind and operate from that space, because that is not how it's done. This is how it's done. All right, it's time to stop operating from the false matrix and start operating from the power that you know you have. Stop allowing yourself to be disempowered, siphoned from, preyed upon. It is an allowance, because they're weaker than you are. Just remember that. I love you all truly and deeply. I'll see you on the flip side. Happy hunting.